Hustle over everything, November 9th, marker.
Yeah, get a shot at the espresso, man. We live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hustle. I'm Alex, host of the show. And if you've ever been curious about boxing, I got a professional boxer with us. Man, honestly, this guy he's becoming a knockout artist. You know, he's really certified in this game. So if you've ever been curious about boxing, the training, the mindset, that's what we're going to dive into today. I'm excited to jump in. And I'm here with JM, Jean-Michael. What's poppin', man?
What's going
How
on,
you doing,
bro?
You
Good to see you. Yeah,
yes, welcome
it's been
to
a
the
while,
show,
man.
bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I've been excited to be here and share my story.
Most definitely. All right, so at what moment did you know, like, you know what? I can actually pursue boxing in a real way.
So I was it started actually a long time ago. I was pretty young. I have three uncles that always boxed growing up. Obviously when, they weren't a lot older than me, but obviously when you have like, somebody that, that you look up, you look up to when you're younger. I've always looked up to them. I played all kinds of sports growing up. But I didn't actually get into the boxing ring until I was about 18 years old, which is technically considered a little bit late.
Old, yeah.
Most guys start around, kids like Floyd, would start around like 6, 7, even earlier. Some guys start at 12 or in their preteens. I started at 18 years old, and it's just, I feel like I needed a void to be filled, and I feel like that was my void. Like I've always played all different types of sports, but I just couldn't find like my niche. I couldn't find my it in life, right? And I felt like that was it,
That's huge, bro. All right, so you get started in boxing, and you start like getting the journey through. Was there a point you knew, all right, I'm actually good at this?
Oh, I knew right away.
right. Like, oh, I'm lit. Let's get it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. All right. So what point do you lock in?
I would say I started locking in, I'd say around 2016, man. I'd say about 2016. I started in 2011. About 2016, I think at that time I had changed gyms. I had about, 14, 15 fights. Not a lot of crazy fights. I changed gyms. I went to this gym called Combat Arts, where I met my coaches. And yeah, I've just been having a crazy amount of like amateur fights when I was there. At that time, I actually had a phone call with I guess like a conditioning coach, and I'll never forget like this conversation that I had with him. And he's like, he asked me what my aspirations were, right? And obviously, as any young guy would be like, yeah, I want to go pro, obviously make money and make a career out of that. But he's like, oh, what about the Olympics? And I'm like, Olympics? Like I never really thought about that. I thought that, that's just such a high tier to like make it there would just be like kind of almost impossible, right? But I was like, all right, like maybe I'll try it. So I over the years between 2016 and 2020, I just kept fighting. I'd win multiple tournaments, provincials, ended up making my way all the way up to nationals, and I won at the Olympic qualifiers in 2019 in Canada. Putting me number one in the country. 2020 comes around. We're 2 weeks away from the actual Olympic qualifiers. So for like a lot of people who don't really know how amateur boxing works.
Please break it down, yes.
So you would have, I can really break it down. So, you would have basically, your local fights. Every year they have provincial fights, right? So you had got to make, we got to win provincials. And then once you win provincials, then you can, fight at the nationals. When you win nationals, then you are considered to be on Team Canada, right? So from there, you can fight internationally. They got all these different tournaments, Pan Am, Commonwealth Games that they have here as well. And then obviously at the end of the 4-year cycle is the Olympics, right? So I pretty much just made the team in time for that. And it was February of 2020. We had just came back from Hungary, just kind of like a developed international tournament just before the qualifiers. And then a week and a half just before we were about to go down to Argentina for our final qualifier. And yes, you have actually every even though you're on the national team, you still have to qualify for the Olympics, right? So I don't know if you watch like track or if you watch like any other
For sure.
Olympic sports, but although you see a guy like Usain Bolt who's always there, like every single Olympics, he still has to like he's still on the national team, but he still has to qualify for the Olympics. So there could have been like a time where somebody else could have been that guy, but obviously, Bolt,
Bolt.
he's him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're about a week and a half away, and then COVID hits. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah. So I think at that time, I think Asia finished their qualifiers. Europe was halfway through. The Americas, North and South America, were going to be in Argentina. They canceled that. They postponed it about 3 times. We were supposed to go back later in the year, and then the year after that, and then everything just became such a long postponement because obviously COVID affected a lot of athletes. It affected millions of people, billions, right? And at that point, that's when I decided to turn pro, right? So it was kind of at the cusp of at the end of COVID, and it kind of seemed like it all worked out, but deep down inside, I'm like, I'd never know if I would have made it there or not, right? So, and another thing as well, like for the Olympics, back then anyway, pros weren't allowed to, go into the Olympics at that time.
Really?
They changed the rules now. I think after 2016 and for Canada after 2024, but now, now we're allowed to technically go back into the Olympics as pros. So it's a little bit different than like other sports, right? Because you see pro athletes like hockey players and such, they're pros, but they still, represent their country, right?
For sure, yeah. Whether it be like Muhammad Ali, he was in the Olympics,
but all before they went pro though, as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's kind of the usual flow. Yeah, even Mike Tyson before he went pro was in the Olympics. That's right.
Yeah.
But LeBron is pro.
Yeah.
But there,
see Kobe. Yeah, Kobe was
Kobe's
there
all
too.
up in there,
like,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's interesting. So with going to the Olympics, you know what I'm saying? Do you work with brands for that? Like, have you been able to now work with that? And do you ever hear the story about Michael Jordan and the Olympics and how he was finessing Reebok back then?
I've not heard about that story. And I'm actually a pretty like MJ fan, big MJ fan. So
it was a whole thing. So Reebok, I think, was either Reebok or Adidas. I can't remember exactly which one. I always find that story interesting. So of course he signed to Nike, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was Reebok that wanted to get him because they sponsored the U.S. team. So what Jordan wanted to do is, okay, I don't want to promote Reebok at all because I'm Team Nike and I'm locked in on that. But they ended up saying you have to wear the uniforms, which are designed.
That's right. Yeah. They were. It was Reebok. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Reebok. Yeah, exactly. So what he did to be slick is he put the American flag over the logo.
I remember that. Yeah.
Just so they could always be photographed without him wearing the logo. So they could.
I didn't know that was the story behind that though. I had no idea.
Yeah, that was in the Jordan doc. But that's interesting, man. How have you found working with brands as a boxer?
It definitely can be difficult at times. I think actually social media plays a huge part of that now.
Yeah.
So obviously, we talked about that earlier about my account getting hacked and whatnot, and kind of hurt. I give me like, the last fight or so, but even outside the Olympics, like, I think it's very important to work with any brands or as many local brands as you can too. I know a lot of people try to get, say like Nike or I don't know, Hoka or something, right? Like, but you really have to, do as much as you can within your community, right? So I think it's very important to find sponsorships that way. It's very important to, build a relationship, not just to ask for, handouts, right? I built a relationship with my union that I was working with, so Logo 787. I also have a couple other sponsorships as well that I've had for like many years, but again, it's more so of like a relationship basis versus just like,
transactional.
Yeah.
Pay me, I do this, da da da.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got you. That's dope, bro. All right. Going back into boxing, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your mentality. Like how you started when you were 18 and now you're pro. How does your life and mentality switch when you're going into fight mode?
I mean, I try to stay in fight mode as long as I can, but it does kind of affect other areas of my life.
Yeah.
Because I work full time. I'm in HVAC. Again, like my husband. I'm a father too.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I can't always be in fight mode 24/7.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd be in a doghouse
Yeah.
24/7.
Facts.
It's just honestly like you can train as hard as you want. You could lift all these different weights, you can spar these different rounds, but your mentality is so important. Like you have to make sure like if that switch is not on, then it could just be that for that training camp, but you always kind of have to find, your why, right? A lot of people don't really talk about like, your why and like, oh, like what does that mean, right? Like, if I want to touch base on it, like kind of figure out like why you're boxing, what helps me is like why I started, right? I started because, obviously I started because, my uncles kind of, got me into it, it was kind of a family thing. And I feel like I just wanted to fill like, a void, and I wanted to inspire others. Like, I know that I'm not going to be the best, professional boxer that's ever lived, but maybe I might inspire somebody who might be, right?
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, like as of right now, like I feel like I'm good and I can beat anyone.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not downplaying myself at the same time, but I feel like, I'm good. Don't get me wrong. Maybe one day I will, maybe one day I won't, right? But I just feel like I want to inspire, like obviously myself and the people around me it's a big thing, right, for me. But yeah, no, I feel like I can definitely reach that mountain high that I've always wanted to be, and I have my my own goals too, and I'm not trying to like like downplay myself like that, but yeah, like I know I'm good. I feel like I'm the best, and you have to be the best. Because if you don't believe that you're the best, you are in the wrong game. Like I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna talk here and pretend I'm gonna be better than like Floyd and Ali and stuff, because all those guys I look up to, and they're in a category of their own, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a great thing to explore. Ego.
Yeah.
In boxing.
Ego too, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept because you have to be proud of yourself and you have to be mentally prideful, but you also have to have a form of humility to understand who you are in the ring, right? Yeah. How do you balance your ego within the ring?
So last year, about a year and a half ago, I had my first loss as a pro, my first and only loss. That was a huge hit to my ego. Huge. Again, as a fighter, you think you're the best, and if you don't think you're the best, you're probably in the wrong game. I think I kind of let some things kind of get a hold of me, and I felt like you are as good as you think you are, but at the same time you're really not as good as you think you are. Yeah, man, this is a sport where you're just you're bound to find out that it humbles you, man. Like even just training, you don't have to be a fighter, but even if you're just training day by day, right? And it definitely humbles you. It's if you're just a guy who's regularly training, it's a good workout for you. Yeah, like I feel like the sport really can humble you. Yeah,
most definitely. It's like I almost feel like it's like the highest highs, and like probably the lowest lows too. So you really kind of have to like stay even keel. Like even in entrepreneurship, like that's something I relate to, because like a high, for example, you have something in public, and I think there's a bit of a correlation there because you're operating in public. Like when something happens that's significant, your phone's blowing up, everyone sees it publicly, and they're like, wow, this is amazing. But a loss is also public, and everyone around you sees it. And you have to like navigate through that loss as well.
So I'll dial back on that loss. Obviously it was definitely very hard. I got stopped. So there's two differences of like in boxing. So this is getting like knocked out like cold, where you're just kind of on the canvas like out. But I got dropped from some guy I fought in, you know, he came from Croatia, you know, fought. It was on my home turf. Obviously there was like a few thousand people that saw it, and it was just like, I remember like sitting back in the locker room, just like hanging out, and I was just like, man, like I can't believe like what just happened.
Wow.
You know, I was so embarrassed. Like I was so humiliated, so embarrassed. I'm like, man, like I don't know if I can. I don't even know if at that time if I was gonna come back and box, right? But you know, that kind of really shows your character, right? You know, I feel like fighting and being in arts kind of really shows your character of who you are, and you know, it doesn't matter how many times you get pushed down. It really matters about how many times you get back up, right?
Yeah.
So that was definitely very hard. It was a tough pill to swallow. But after, you know, I had the birth of my daughter, I kind of felt like a rebirth of me too, and you know, it was definitely like shed a lot more light on, you know, my whole situation. And maybe I felt like I was being like a little selfish in some ways, but I felt like after she was born, it kind of just made me like a better person, and I found myself a little more that way as well.
How else has having a daughter changed you?
I would just say, you know, obviously, like, you know, I'd say like selfishly, you know, I just feel like there's more to life than boxing. And I felt like before, like I had so much pressure. Like, no, I need to be the best. I need to be undefeated. You know, nobody can touch me. I'm this and that. But then you kind of just, you have a door that kind of opens to like everything else. And you kind of get a different perspective on things, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. It's almost like you're so locked into this whole world. It's like, yo, it's not that serious.
It's not, no. You know, like sometimes you just gotta like slow it down, you know, like the hustle and bustle of your everyday life. Everyone's just in the rat race, right? Like it's a lot. It's a lot of pressures to deal with, and it's, you know, you just kind of have to just step back and take a bigger look at the picture. You know what I mean? Just be like, you know, make a better game plan. You know, okay, maybe for that fight you weren't mentally prepared, so let's dial back and let's think about other ways that we can, you know, change this scenario for the next one coming up, right? So I think it's definitely like maybe slow down in a good way. Because obviously I don't know if you ever heard that term, but like people, you know, when people like get married, have a kid, you know, it's time to slow down. You know?
For sure.
I mean, like at the same time, like no, like I still got to be like a killer, like you know. But at the same time, like I get like that whole aspect of just slowing things down, and, you know, kind of just being a little like, you know, just cautious of what you're doing and making better plans and you know, attributes towards, you know, your goal, right?
I feel you. I feel you. I only know to being a killer, bro. What's a day in your life like training wise?
When I'm in training camp, it can be pretty rough. Not all my days are like this, but you know, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 a.m.
Yeah. So I live in St. Catharines, Ontario. And for people who don't know, it's near Niagara Falls. It's kind of one of the bigger or only cities there.
For sure.
So I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to training at Radix, do my strength and conditioning. From there, I would drive home, change up, then I'd go straight to work in Beamsville. And then from there, you know, I'd work 8-hour shift like almost everybody else does. And then I would, after that, around like, so that's like 8 to 4:30. After 4:30, I would go home, change up, and I would hit the gym. I'd go back down to Oakville and do my boxing. So
what?
Yeah, I know it sounds absolutely insane, but
hold on.
Again, it's not like this every day, but it's definitely like this like a few times a week.
How long do you do that? Like, what's that usual process?
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, depending on, you know, the type of fight that I'm in. You know, I'm usually always in shape, so I try to go to the gym like, you know, as many times as I can during the week.
Holy shit.
But it's a lot of driving. It's, you know, I might not be, I feel like I'm a pretty good boxer, you know. I might not be
you're amazing,
the best.
bro. You're amazing, bro. Fuck it. Nah, bro. Like I saw you.
I'm just trying to be a little homo, but you know.
Bro, the way you knocked that dude out, I saw that recent knockout, I was like, damn. And that was crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, bro. Like, you're being humble, man.
Yeah.
You've been knocking people out, bro.
Yeah, you know where I have still.
Yeah, man. I ain't letting you get that off. Nah, bro. You definitely been knocking people out. So, all right, back to the training, because this is insane. I want to like get into nitty gritties of this, because it's inspiring for someone like me. You know, I do not live that lifestyle at all.
Yeah.
So you wake up at 4 a.m. You get to the gym by like 5 a.m. Is it?
Yeah, about 5 a.m. Yeah.
And then you work out till 7, so like a 2-hour workout.
Yeah, about 7. Yeah.
What
hour and a half.
constitutes a workout for you?
Like, what constitutes a workout?
Yeah.
Like,
what's in a workout?
I mean, like, it depends. Like, I kind of like doing my workouts like a little bit shorter. So, okay, let's say I'm doing my strength and conditioning workout, like I'm doing my lift, right? So I would, get to the gym, do like a bit of warm up, 5-10 minutes. Then I would, make sure I do my stretches, all my dynamic exercises. Then I would kind of get into the first exercise. I might be doing like deadlifts, might be squatting. And then after that, we'll have like different lifting exercises. So I might do like an overhead shoulder press, mixing in with some chin-ups. But at the end of my workout, I always do like a conditioning cycle. So I think I talked about this on my IG at some point, but I do a workout in camp, which is called the Ghost. And it is the most disgusting, like cardio-wise workout.
What is the Ghost?
So basically, there's this fighter, Chris Ghost Guerrero. He actually fought Mayweather like kind of like back in the day, but I think his camp created a workout called the Ghost. So the way we do it is that we'll do, say I'm fighting 8 rounds, right? So I'll be on the bike, assault bike for about a minute, like as hard as I can. I get off, then I do 1 minute of burpees, as many as I can, and then after that exercise, I would get on the skip rope and do 100, as many double unders as I can within like a minute. So
double unders. That's when you do like the two skips.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So that's one set. So that's three minutes, right? So assault bike for 1 minute. Then I would do the burpees or push-ups for 1 minute, and then I skip for 1 minute. So that's 3 minutes, so that's one set with a 1 minute break, but I do that 8 times.
8 times.
Yeah. And it probably sounds pretty bad, but when you get to like 6, 7, 8, it gets pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a workout, for me.
Sheesh. Yeah. The Ghost. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to try it just to see how bad it is.
You can try it. I don't know how many rounds you plan on doing, bro, but
8 sounds insane. 8 sounds insane. I might get a good 2, a good 3, and then be like, all right, let's get a workout in, because that's insane. I appreciate you sharing that. I feel like some people are gonna try it. I know our audience, I know our guys, but light work. Go try it, homie. Go do it. Go try it. Yeah. It's light work. Yeah. Try it. That's interesting, bro. All right, so then you have a full day of work.
Yeah.
And then do another workout after that. What's that one like?
So that's like boxing. So it could be, sparring. Could be doing like hand pads and bag work. I normally get to the gym, do my, do my warm up. I'd skip, do my stretching. I get my roller out. I'd like to, lay down on my back and just kind of roll out and kind of get those aches and pains out. Then I do a bit of shadow boxing for 4 or 5 rounds, and then if I'm sparring, then I get my sparring gear on, and then I'd be sparring for if I'm fighting, say 8 rounds for a fight. Usually I kind of stick to about 6 to 8, depending on the day. Like if I'm feeling like a little bit tired, maybe I'll do less. If I feel really good, then maybe I might do like a little more, right? So then that's about like 2 hours of work, hour and a half, and then also mindset too. Like I try my best to kind of, do a little bit of meditation or kind of mind work each day.
Tell me more about that.
So meditation is one of those practices that a lot of athletes should do, but a lot of athletes don't do, right? I like to, meditating is okay with me, because I try to kind of quiet out all those demons that are kind of talking to me in my head and whatnot. But I kind of like to visualize of, okay, I'll do it like 20 times during like a training camp. So, if I'm just sitting in my car or my truck after training, I'll sit down, for like 10 minutes and just kind of visualize, my whole day or my whole preparation to like the time I get into the ring. So I would, just visualize, me waking up that day, me go eating breakfast, watching TV, relaxing, maybe taking like a bath or a shower before I fight. And then me like walking over to the venue or driving to the venue, me getting out the venue, if I have to go up a set of stairs or, depending on how the venue looks like, me walking to the change room, in the change room, getting changed, wrapping my hands. And then for me, like walking out to the ring and then hearing the bell ring. And then that's kind of where I stop.
Really?
Yeah. And then after, well, I wouldn't necessarily stop, but then I just have envision of my hand being raised at the end of.
Well, why would you not envision in the ring?
Well, because a lot of things can happen in the ring, right? I mean, yeah.
So it's like to manage expectations.
Yeah. Because I don't want to be like, okay, I got to do this jab, cross. Then I got to block here, but because things can change and you have to be willing, you have to learn how to adapt as well, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of cut that part out, and then I just always envision me winning.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's kind of something I like to do, every day when I'm in camp.
Yeah.
Again, like meditation is,
I find
is key too.
That's fascinating. Because I think a lot of times when people talk about meditating, they talk about the exact opposite of, I'm going to envision me winning, but envision how the fight goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit him with this, that. I'm going to knock him out, da. But yours is kind of like, that you have to kind of not necessarily freestyle, but you have to be so adaptable that it doesn't make sense to vision how the fight goes.
Exactly, yeah.
But in this, like, intricacies, because that you have to be fluid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's, that's just, my take on things has been working for all these years. So I just kind of, use that. Again, man, some people don't even like do any of that stuff. Any of that mind stuff. It's like, they just always think about the physical things, but it's really not. Like when people talk about like it's 80-20, it's really 80-20. Like, I mean, there's times where I've sparred and not really been in shape and I'm beating dudes up who are like, have 8 packs or just like ready to fight like the week after. And it's like, I don't know, like it's a mindset, right? Like, and I think that goes with everything that you do in life. And that's what boxing has taught me a lot about is life. Because I feel like, obviously I have my own goals for boxing. My window's also very short, like for athletes, it's not that long. So you have to make the best of it. But I think whatever I do now will set me up for the future. And I feel like there's so many possibilities of what I could do whatever I want after boxing. You know what I mean? If I wanted to be, if I wanted to own like $1 million company, I feel like I would be able to do that. I have that much belief in myself because I put so much work into this that I feel like anything is possible.
Yeah. The amount of dedication you have.
It's just the mindset, man.
Yeah. Well, walk me through, tell me more about this mindset, bro. Like, what are some of the things that you feel like set you apart mindset-wise to other people?
So I would personally think that a lot of fighters, yes, I do box full time, but I also work full time. So as good as I am and as good as I believe I am, I think that's one thing I do have on a lot of other people is that I work a physical job and I'm still in the gym every single day. And a lot of guys like, I feel like I'm just in that very, very slim, small percentage. And, there's other guys who are just training all the time. I don't have the luxury to do that, unfortunately. I have bills, I have a mortgage, but, they do. And I'm still showing up and I'm still beating you. And I feel like it might make a bit of a difference now, but, later on when I'm able to do it completely full time with not worrying about like, my bills, then that's I feel like that's a huge advantage that I have over a lot of other fighters.
It's almost like your challenge is becoming like your gift, low key.
Yeah, it's a will. Yeah, just my will to win, and very competitive. Yeah. Right. So just my will to be number one is I'm so like fixated on that.
Yeah.
Bend like a little bit more.
There you go.
Yeah, and then that's like kind of like your stance. You can hit. Yeah, you can hit.
Boom.
Yeah, just make sure you turn your arms like all the way over, So if you're like throwing a jab, just make sure like you're taking kind of like a half step and just turning. Yeah.
Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
And snap it, like whip it like you're whipping a towel. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well.
Like that.
Yeah.
You do
whip,
boxing, Alex?
Nah, this is
Okay, go.
Yeah.
impromptu.
You square. You're true square. Yeah.
Okay.
Like here, you want to get, so here you won't get a lot of reach, but if you're here,
from here,
you'll get,
I got you still to square. Boom.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow, y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Boom. Like that.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure you turn your wrist over at the end.
Turn your wrist on the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Boom.
Over. Yeah. 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 There.
Okay. That's incredible, bro. Now, one thing I'm curious about too, I always want to get into, is the chess match in the ring. You know, I'd love to get your understanding of how that chess match works in the gym. You know, or not in the gym, in the ring. Like, is it's a matter of reading the person? Like, what's the process of that? Like, I'm so curious.
Yeah, it's so boxing, a lot of it, like at the high level, has to do with like a lot of IQ, right? So, you know, for a lot of people like who don't really watch boxing, they kind of just see like the violence of it. UFC too, guys just scrapping, you know, and it's really not that, man. It is really, it's a little bit of that, but it's not all that. A lot of it's just IQ. It's, you know, okay, you know what? Let me just take a little bit of a break. Let me think this guy thinks he has me, but when I go back into the corner or come out, I'm going to be a completely different fighter, right? So it's just, again, being able to adapt and having a higher IQ skill level plays a huge difference in boxing, in fighting and in sparring too, right? But just the smarter fighter always wins. The smarter guy always wins.
Let's get a little bit more nitty-gritty. So, like, for example, you're fighting somebody, and are you using like you're being coy during the fight type of thing? Or is it like, all right, so they're using more of their right, so I'm gonna block more? Like, I don't know the intricacies yet. I wish I was, you know, but like, I want to get into it.
It's a little complex, but I think, you know, once you don't make it complex, you kind of figured it out. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you find that, okay, this person's throwing like an uppercut and then like a jab all the time, then, you know, you kind of, once you figure out how to stop them from doing that, you know, then, and they don't have a plan B or a plan C, they don't know how to throw anything else, and you kind of figure them out that way, and then you can dictate your own plan on them. You know, that's why for like a lot of professional fighters, sometimes there's not stoppages earlier on, right? In fights, like Tyson was knocking guys out, I don't know, like first 5 minutes, first like couple minutes, seconds, whatever, 4 or 5 seconds, right? But as his career progressed, like he was fighting guys like Holyfield and Lennox, and he was having a hard time with them because you know, they kind of build their own game plan, and you know, they work and they study, and by the time after a 12-round fight, you know, by the time they get to round 7, 8, like a guy like Tyson is in trouble because he, you know, he's like, oh, like shit, like my game plan isn't working. Like what? I don't know what else to do. Right? So it's kind of the same thing for all levels of boxing. Right?
Who do you think has some of the best chess mindsets when it comes to boxing? Like, who you like? Oh yeah, I love how he moves.
Oh, Crawford, 100%.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford for sure. So he's 42-0. He's beat everybody he's been in the ring with, and they said he couldn't do it, but he did it. And yeah, he's just such like, he's a switch hitter. You know, he reads. He kind of keeps you out like, you know, a distance. I don't even really know how to say his style because, you know, he can box on the inside, he can box on the outside. You know, it goes from southpaw to orthodox. He's just always on top of you, and he always knows what your next move is before you even figure out what your next move is. All right.
So he's really good at reading you to really
reading body language, you know, reading even just your facial like expressions. You know, you can tell a lot by like, okay, like this guy's probably gonna throw like a really big hit, you know, or if they're like, if he gets hit and they're like kind of shaking their head. I know, like, have you ever really seen that before? In like fights? Some guys pretend like, oh, that's like nothing, but you know,
That's how they do that. That's
Yeah.
the usual tell that got me.
Yeah, like that got you. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's just like being able to read like just facial expressions and just movements and because this game is like, sure, like you can, figure out like how somebody is by watching tape, but once you're actually in there with someone, you actually kind of, it's weird, you kind of find out like a little more about who they are. Even as like a person too, like it's strange like that.
Tell me, go more on that.
I mean, like, you kind of figure out how they are as a person and, what they're willing to do and what they're willing to overcome. Like, maybe they think they can knock you out, so they're throwing like 100 punches and then they get tired and then, then you figure out like, oh, okay, like this guy, he's gassed, he's done. Like,
he's
what else?
He's short-sighted.
Yeah. Like, what else are you willing to prove here, So you kind of figure somebody out there as well. So
interesting.
It's an art, man. Like, they call it, mixed martial arts. It's an art. At the end of the day, it's a science, right?
Are you able to read people better now that you've been able to just like read people in the ring?
I mean, my wife doesn't think I can read people that well or read her, but I kind of a little bit, Yeah.
Damn. It's interesting, bro. All right, man. Working towards wrapping up. Where do you see yourself going in the boxing world?
I see myself going all the way in the top and nowhere else, man. I already have a Canadian title. And actually, I want to touch on a story about that. But I have a Canadian title now. Next, we're planning on doing a North American. Maybe sometime next year. But as of right now, I just want to get as many fights as I can get in and just get that experience, because experience is big. And then work my way up to a world title, man, and bring it back home.
Tell me about the Canadian title.
So, September 30th, 2023, I fought for my first Canadian title. I'm actually also the fastest, I think, pro fighter to win a Canadian title as well.
Wow.
So normally most guys would, start, fighting for a Canadian title like 14 fights, maybe add 10 fights. After 5 fights, I got that opportunity to fight another undefeated guy. So we weren't cherry picking here, right? He was 6-0, 7-0 with 7 knockouts. I was like 5-0 with like 2 knockouts, right? So obviously, that's a pretty big risk. So September 30th, 2023, was the day I was fighting for the Canadian title. It's kind of a little bit of a crazy story here, but in Ontario, before like 2025, we used to do same day weigh-ins, which was kind of dangerous because a lot of guys cut a lot of weight. And at that point, like it was still the same day weigh-ins, right? So they normally do same day weigh-ins for amateurs. But anyways, it could be like pretty dangerous, but they changed, the commission changed that.
Why is it dangerous?
Well, because everywhere around the world, even guys in the UFC, they always you always see the weigh-ins the day before, and they would fight the day after, just because of health reasons, right? Because you're draining all this weight, all this water from your body, and then you're fighting a few hours later. Like that's bad, man. That's like you're probably gonna have concussion.
You're not gonna be in the best shape. Yeah. Interesting, got you. So they give you the 24 hours to kind of rejuvenate. Usually. Okay.
Even though if you do it like the morning of, it's more like 36 hours.
Okay.
But so September 30th, fought for the Canadian title. So because weigh-ins were on the same day, I wake up around 5 o'clock. I do my salt bath, cut down my little bit of weight that I had, and I go into bed. I normally don't do it, but I'm like, I don't want anybody bugging me. I got a few hours to weigh-ins. Weigh-ins were at 9 o'clock. I put my phone on DND. Didn't set an alarm. I'm like, I'll wake up. I'll be good. So I hear a knock on my door. All right. I'm like, oh, hi, room service. I guess it was like, room service just came by. I'm like, oh, that's kind of, it's kind of weird. But I just told him like, oh, like, I'm not ready for, room service. Like, no, thank you. I look at my phone. It's 8:30. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I got some time before weigh-ins. So I take my phone off D&D and I had about like 20 plus messages, over a dozen missed calls from like my promoters, coaches, my manager, telling me like, hey, like, So then I ended up getting a phone call as I was, looking through these messages, and my promoter's like, he's like, "Oh, Jay, like, where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in my hotel room. Like, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, like, like, if you don't get here in 10 minutes, the fight's off." And I'm like, "What do you mean, like, the fight's off? Like, I thought like wings were at 9:00.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, they're always at 8:00, dude. You better get here. Everyone's done. Like, the commission's gonna, close it off. You better get here. This and that." So at this point, I'm like panicking. So I had just like just shorts on, like no under or nothing, and then I just threw on like a jacket that I had. I leave my hotel room, go downstairs. I'm running across the street. I see one of my coaches, getting ready to go in with me, and he just looks at me and he just sees complete panic on my face. I'm like, "Man, like I gotta get upstairs, like before, like I gotta weigh in before they cancel the fight, this and that." So I'll go upstairs. End up weighing in, did my medicals, all that stuff. It was fine. Obviously my promoters were kind of like laughing at me, like, because I just came in like flip flops and shorts, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, I get back to my hotel room, and then I'm just kind of trying to wind down. But I noticed like my room is still like, kind of like, a little bit messy. So I ended up calling, the hotel staff. I'm like, "Hey, like, I know room service was here earlier. Like, could you, tell her to come back up, and I can leave if you want me to, and she can just reorganize the room." And then they're like, "Oh, like room service doesn't start till like 12:00. I'm like, "Dude, like what are you talking about? Like somebody like was coming in at like 8:30, for room service." They're like, "Oh no, like nobody comes until like 12:00, so like I can just tell whoever we have just to come up to your room at around that time." And I'm like, "Okay, like that's fine." And then I'm like, "So what? Like, I'm like, what was that?"
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if you're like too religious or spiritual and whatnot, but I feel like my grandfather actually passed away a few months prior to that. So I feel like that was like a sign that I was supposed to, be in that fight.
Wow.
And I did win at the end of the day. I did win by 7-round knockout. But yeah, I don't know where that lady went. I don't even know what she looked like, because I ran out of that hotel room as fast as I could. But apparently nobody was there, man. So I don't know if it was like a guardian angel, or I don't know who or what that was.
Wow.
But I actually haven't told, like, I think I told my wife and like one of my coaches the story. I haven't told like many people the story at all.
Wow, I have
So
goosebumps. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
Yeah. Damn, if it wasn't for that lady, or whoever came and knocked on your door, it would have been a wrap. It would have been curtain. You would have never made that title.
Yeah, man. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like some things in life were meant to happen. That was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How did the fight go overall? Like walk me through the fight from round to round.
First round out, we're just kind of feeling each other out. A lot of jabs are being thrown. We're moving, left and right. Second round, kind of the same thing, just more of a bit of intensity.
Yeah.
Third round comes around. Halfway through the fight, I ended up dropping him like a double left hook.
Ooh.
It was honestly, man, like so crisp, like so smooth. Like probably reposted it about like 10 times.
Yeah.
But it was nice. He gets up. I'm like, okay, like I want to put him out. So I ended up.
You don't want to put him out.
No, I did want to put him out.
Okay, you're like,
so.
Right.
Adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah.
I ended up just like throwing like a barrage of punches. He actually went through the ropes onto like the judge's table. And I'm like, oh, like he's done. This is it.
Yeah.
And then I thought the ref like called it off, but he called it like no slip. He's like, no slip, no slip. So then I'm like, oh, okay, like we're fighting again. And I'm like, I'm completely gassed.
Yeah.
And then he ends up like, I guess like kind of like getting back to himself. And I remember he clocked me on the ropes as like the bell rang.
Yeah.
And bro, I was like almost knocked out on my feet.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I get back to the corner. My coach is just yelling at me. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, like you just gotta like calm it back down. Let me bring you back down here." So fourth and fifth round, I'm trying to like, kind of come back to myself. He's getting, rhythm. He's kind of, building the repetition, right? So I'm kind of more like an outside fighter. He's kind of more inside. So I'm just trying to,
Keep
poke him,
outside.
poke him on the outside, just like stick and move, stick and move. Sixth round comes around. I kind of get my momentum back. Seventh round, 10 seconds before, the round finishes, I end up getting him with the counter right hand, and I put him out on the ropes. Fight was done.
Just like that.
And that was it, man. Like, it's as long as fights are like they're so like they're just blurs now. Like they're blurs to me. Like I kind of have to, like, if I want to remember or think about that fight, I really have to like watch, like visually, like watch tape, because it's all blurs. They just because they just go by so fast,
and the muscle memory kicks in more times.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself more a defensive fighter or offensive fighter?
I would say more so a defensive, but a counterpuncher. I would say, yeah.
So you're really good at reading and being like, okay, cool. He's swinging, I'm ducking, boom.
Yeah.
Hitting him. Okay.
If you ever see my face after like any of my fights, like I'm barely touched. Like no bruises, no broken bones, like nothing, man. Like I'm clean, man. Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. As work was wrapping up, man, I just want to ask you about the way it feels to be in this zone you are in right now. You know, conquering the Canadian title, being able to provide for your family, working full time both in boxing and in HVAC. How are you feeling overall?
It's life, man. It's busy, but I love it, man. I love being busy, and I love every single aspect of it. I love working, I love obviously boxing. I love being a dad and a father more than anything. And
you mentioned that actually off camera.
Yeah.
You love being a dad.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
Because
I'm surprised that you told me that, like, you may have known some people who are not feeling the same about that.
Yeah. I'm in a men's group. Shout out to ISI. Basically, it's a group of guys who come together and we just talk about life, and we try to. It's called Iron Sharpens Iron. So we like talk about things to be like, no, get your shit together, or it's all right, bro. And some of the things like I'll be talking about.
Yeah, men need that though too,
For sure. Matter of fact, you should come out one day, bro.
Yeah.
It'll be dope. And as a guy that's just like locked in on building this business up, sometimes you hear the story and you're like, you know what? I ain't got it that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You hear a guy talk about like divorce and sickness and this and that. And bruh, she said it was mine, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the crazy.
Kid is not,
like,
kid is not my son.
It's not my son, So you hear that and you're like, I ain't got it that bad, But one of the things that rarely hear is at this stage specifically.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be a dad. So I'd love to get more insight into like how you're loving the 1 to 2 year age, because that's the time people are like, I'm hating my life right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Maybe I should talk to more dads and find out, because like I don't know, for me, well, the first year is always it's the hardest for obviously for the mother and for the father as well.
Sure,
and obviously there's always going to be conflict, regardless of your relationship. But now, like, she's at that age where she's starting to do stuff, starting to move around, like, I guess appreciating stuff a little bit. But yeah, it's you can, I guess, like as a father, the older they get, that's when you kind of like kick in, right? Like that's when you can take them out places, take them to the park, have like playtime with them, because I'm just, I'm playful dad, man. That's me. So it's just, I guess, like it's more of a playful thing. I'm not afraid of changing diapers. I'll change them all day. Although like I do like my sleep, so my wife will tell you that I like sleeping a lot. So
what time do you go to sleep?
Usually like around like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Gosh, you're early back to sleep. You go to bed.
Yeah, man. I can't do it. I used to stay up to like 12 o'clock, but I'm not in high school anymore, man. I can't do that.
I feel you. I feel you. Honestly, shout out to you, man. Like I'm the worst. I went to bed at 3:30 a.m.
Jesus, last night.
Jeez,
bro. I don't know how you. I don't know how you people function, man. I can't. I don't know how you do it. I rate it, but I can't do it.
Yeah. 9 8:30 you're winding down.
Yeah.
Shout out to you,
I
man.
try the best. Yeah. Sometimes I'll leave the gym around like 8:30, but like by the time I'm home, like 9:30, like
You're out.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout
If
out
I
to you.
get that wind down time. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, work towards wrapping up, like I said. Where can people find you?
People can find me on IG mostly, trying to build up my TikTok, but Real J Unboxing.
Yeah,
on IG.
When's the next fight?
Right now, we're working on something right now, so we got something in the mix. So yeah, man,
okay.
we'll have something soon, man. If not at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year.
Is there any boxers you're looking forward to fighting?
In Canada, I mean, I've kind of fought
in general.
I mean, I'm going down. So my next fight will be at 160. So there's not like a crazy amount of names at 160, but I mean, I'm willing to fight anyone, man. Like
You ready to go up or go down?
Like I want all that smoke, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Love to hear that. To hear that. With that being said, the hustle what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex.
JM.
Let's just show y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.